Where you find this spot at? Sam, right? I'm Rock. This is T.
Oh, there you go with that bike up again. Told you about that riding, girl.
So where'd you go?
Nowhere. So I got a new addition?
Yeah, that's Samantha.
Samantha, I'm sure. Hey, y'all.
All right, so for this movie, we went ahead and went to Tubi, and this came out in 2023. This is When Girls Ride, and basically you see Samantha who has to up and move because of some things happen behind the scenes, and pulling up at a gas station because it has the best lighting, bar none. If you're trying to take pictures for social media, she meets some friends, and you're watching the choices she makes in this movie. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go with first impressions. Let's start with Jay.
Yeah, my first impression is Tubi. My second impression was, yo, let's do it. A film that has female leads. I'm like, you give the Tubi combo that I'm about to start explaining, then you'll understand this is going to be a good night. So I had lotion, liquor, and cigars. We was ready to go. So that's all I got to say.
All right, so let's go with lotion. Wow, let's go with Iris. First impressions.
Unmute yourself, dear. Iris, you're going to want to unmute yourself.
My bad.
Muted.
I didn't want to make
happy and we're singing and we're muted.
I didn't want to make all types of noise while we was playing the trailer. So first impression prior to watching this movie, I wasn't excited. I am not a Tubi person. If I do watch something on Tubi, it's because it's like an actual well-known movie and they put it on Tubi for free. But some of these low budget movies, it's very rare that I find one that's like, oh, this shit was good. So yeah, first impression was not excited to watch it, but I did it for y'all.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Now, my first impression was I'm for the last year or so, I've been excited watching anything Tubi. So my first impression was I want to give it a shot. I do enjoy watching a lot of Tubi stuff, indie stuff. So for me, to experience just the chill with the story, nothing flashy, knowing the production's not there, my expectations were low. I just wanted a good story. So with that being said, hey Iris, how you rating this? What's the pros and cons here?
So highs and lows, basically. Highs. One thing that I did enjoy is that because most of this movie was based in New York, especially in the Bronx. Um, like I don't know if you noticed in a couple of times, but basically in the very beginning when the girls meet each other, they meet at the speedway off of Tremont. That is actually my old neighborhood. It's right there off of Bruckner.
Okay, Iris from the
And the
block.
95. And there's actually this like right next to the speedway, there's like this like what they call like the Habibi Deli grocery store. That's like right there. And I used to love going in there to get me some chips. But so yeah, I want to say that that was like the only part that made me nostalgic was like kind of seeing them riding throughout the Bronx, on occasion, and I was like, "Oh my god, I remember that! I remember that!" As a kid. Now, in regards to lows, um, I really have to say that my one of my biggest lows was some of the shots. The camera was very, very shaky. Like it's whoever was couldn't hold the camera steady and it was driving me nuts. Some of the conversations, just dialogue throughout the movie was very drawn out or very unnecessary. And I know, they're trying to make it as realistic as possible, but it was just so boring. Like I'm not gonna lie, on occasion on some spots, I did like doze off. And then when I would wake back up, I still wasn't lost on what was going on because I don't want to say the movie was predictable, but there was no like big twists and turns and for me. at least. Another situation for me in regards to this movie was the storyline itself. I feel like was kind of all over the place. Like, is it a drama? Is it supposed to be like action packed? Like, I felt like they were trying to do some like drama, but like throw in like an Ocean's 11 or like Fast and the Furious type vibe to it, and like like revenge situation. Like I just feel like the storyline they needed to pick a plot and stay with it. Um, Other thing is some of the acting was very dry for me. You can tell a lot of the actors is like, this your first movie, huh? Um, and it's like their personalities. You didn't. They were just so they were dry like fucking toast. And I just and like your biggest protagonist in this movie. Like sometimes his angry, like I couldn't help but laugh. I was like, nigga, why you fake mad for? Like, relax, son. Um, and it was just so yeah. I don't want to jump into my review until we all get our parts out, but it I feel like the movie did need some work, especially the camera person. Because there were scenes that you just see the camera going,
You was on a motorcycle. That's what it was.
there was that first scene where her husband first leaves her and she's coming out the bathroom, and it's like he couldn't focus the camera on her in the closet. Then there was only like two motherfucking hangers in there with like
Oh,
a towel.
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, it's that indie
where
budget.
her clothes at? Like, you could at least have your actors bring clothes from her house and be like, hey, just stack some of your stuff. So it looks like homie left, but at least your stuff is still there. She was empty, like he took his clothes and her clothes. You know?
All right, Jay, I see you laughing over there. Let's go with you next. What did you think about this?
I'm only going to add on to her little that one part. I just want to add on. Can we all agree that the husband was right? You have to watch the movie to understand.
Yes.
He was fucking right.
He
MVP of the film is the fucking husband. So that's all I'm going to say. There was too many storylines going on. Too many storylines to the point where I was like, why? Like, most of these characters aren't really important enough that they need that much development. Number one. Number two, you don't even develop them. You just showing scenes of random stuff. Like, and I'm gonna be nicer than Iris. I felt like some of and Dad Panther, because he trashed it too. I felt like for an indie film that you shot with your, your grandmother's camera, I felt like y'all did a great job, man. You lit it well. I think a lot of the shot, I think whoever decided the scenes, I think they captured the scenes pretty well. I feel like the editing was horrible, meaning that, like, say for instance, there's a club scene and there's some dancing going on, and it's like they got some great shots of some dancing and different movements, but then the camera would just like maybe somebody slipped on a mop or slipped on a banana, and then the camera just goes woo, woo, and you're like, what's going on? And it doesn't make sense. So then you have your bad guy, which the thing that confused me the most is when your bad guy, it has nothing to do with the title of the film or what we established. And even with the girls had kind of, because I think the girls were in one movie, and then the bads was in another movie, and they was like, yo, we don't got enough money for both of these movies, so let's just combine these together and then like just make it super gangster. More bang for the buck. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them for that. Over the top gangsterism, but it wasn't really gangster. It was just my homie, the big bad, he had gas. Like, let's just be honest. If somebody had gave him, a couple little pills so his stomach would calm down, he'd have been a much happier character. But Shorty wasn't being a good girlfriend. That's the reason why they was bumping heads. If you think about it, you'll understand. So, me wrapping this up, because the boss said I can't go too long. In the end, this film could have been great. I thought the idea was phenomenal. And even in the beginning, when I saw the first lead character, yeah, it was stupid. That whole thing, that was dumb. But her feeling like, okay, I'm gonna find a new group of friends. Even how she found them, not a good idea. I think that was sketchy and crazy and weird, but I went along with it, because this is Tubi rules. This isn't real life rules. But just getting them together, I thought the three actresses had good chemistry. I felt like they had a vibe going on. I thought it was going to be like a little bit of a comedy mixed with a little bit of, like them trying to like get their thing off the ground. And I felt like that's the movie I really wanted to see. And I felt like that we got lost into something else. So if you're the producer or the writer or somebody that watched this film, that create this film, the biggest thing I can tell y'all is that I didn't hate what you created. It was way, way, way too long. Like if you could have cut 45 minutes out of this, and what you currently had would have been better. But if you had really taken the time to find a purpose for the film, if the characters had purpose, and if you had tried to you have to understand, you have to we are Americanized film watchers, so we have become accustomed to a certain style of writing and a certain style of production. You've got to fall into that. You got to teach us something or take us to a certain place or do something. This film did none of those things. It started, it went on, and then it ended. And that it's like, kudos for y'all for doing that and finding attractive people to be on screen. I respect you for that, but you didn't accomplish your goal. Well, if your goal was to just do a film, you've accomplished that, but I don't know what the purpose was, and I don't know what I was supposed to learn out of this. So with that being said, good luck to you guys. I hope your next one is way better, but nah, son, nah. Dad Panther?
I think you both said it perfectly. I'll try to go through and see if I missed something, but the things I took away that I didn't enjoy about the movie was the pacing and the editing. If you look at what Jay said, it should pop up as a warning for a lot of these Tubi movies that this is just what it is. A little realism wouldn't have hurt. There's some things that were happening where legally you're like, well, they're all going to jail because they don't there's one scene that's something that happens towards the end of the movie. There's a camera sitting at right there in the fucking corner as these things are happening. And I'm like, you dumb motherfuckers. Like, can someone just walk the scene? But you'll see that in Tubi movies, unfortunately. The other thing that I would say that the good things about it was the story with a question mark. The idea of what they were trying to do, I thought was great. I would have loved to see this as a Stella Got Your Groove Back type of thing. And she's riding through the streets of New York and they're just having fun when they're in the club dancing to the Latin music. And they got the girls were beautiful and they had chemistry. As the cast got bigger, it just kind of fell off. You didn't have the best acting and you didn't have the best story. The other thing would be the trailer. The trailer, unfortunately, seems better than the movie, and the reason for that is because it's shot smaller. The editing, it's a more fluent story, even though it kind of tells you what's going to happen. But unfortunately, like they all said, every point they made is exactly that point. And with that being said, let's ride off, not into the sunset, but in the next segment. But before we get there, Jay, how are we going to review this?
Ha ha! It's either going to be a classic, a good watch, a catch on streaming, or not do it for me.
Oh, hell
no! Or if you ever show me this ever again, I will. And who's going first?
Oh, hell nah.
Oh, damn.
Oh, hell
no! Dad Panther? Oh my Lord.
I was muted. I was muted. I was gonna say, let's get it to Iris because I feel like you got something for us for the rating.
Yeah.
Who, me?
So,
yes, you.
With that, hell nah. I'm sorry, but y'all were a little more nicer than me. I thought this movie was trash. Not enough to slap somebody, but I'm straight. I never want to see that shit again. Don't pick no more goddamn.
I don't ever want to see this again. She don't. She don't.
I don't even want it playing in the background while I'm cooking. I'm good.
Ooh, all right. So Jay, what do you got? Dang. dying.
Being honest with you, like honestly, there were so many times where I was talking to the television. End, please end or shoot me, murder me. I don't care. I'm willing to die to not have to finish this. But I'm like, and I wasn't wanting to see what the end was. I just wanted to make sure that I could come back in here and say I survived the gauntlet and that this was just as bad as I thought it was when I first pressed play. Like, so yeah, man, I never want to see that again. Now, if they were to really take this constructive criticism and rewrite the script and give me something a little better, keep the same actors, the same actresses, not the same locations, but like, you know, some better cameras and like really reshoot something, I would really like them to reshoot it because I feel like there's something there, man. There's something great there, just not the story we saw. But the concept of the three women, the bike club, and all of that, there's something there. So I'm going to shut up now. And Dad Panther, what is yours?
I'm going to agree with both of you guys. Let's shoot up the club. Not necessarily, but as far as what this movie is, I agree. Every point you guys made was perfect, even to the point where Jay said, because of these beautiful women and the chemistry they had, I would love to see a sequel. Maybe they get together and they ride to Atlanta for a music festival and you just watching them almost like some Freaknik type stuff. I'm here for it. But to do the heist thing and all that other stuff was on the side, it just wasn't for me.
It brought the whole film down. It made it so stereotypical. Like what I saw, like what I had imagined when I saw the flyer and the banner and stuff, like, because I didn't see the trailer. I was just like, man, this sounds like it's gonna be cool. Like, you know what I mean? And I thought, oh, here's another thing. If you're gonna do something like When Girls Ride and they do so much conversation around bike riding, I would have thought that we would have seen more bike culture in New York. And I was like weirded. I'm like, wow, we didn't really see that. You didn't see you showed us a couple of scenes where you didn't even show the bikes. Like people were like, oh man, your bike is dope. And the camera's up here. And you're kind of like, I'm looking like, what bike is it? Like, what makes it so special? Like, we don't get to see none of that. So like, and I understand that they were probably trying to like avoid litigation or whatever, but still, I mean, we still needed that. So without, let me shut up. Let's move on. If you want to watch it yourself, go to Tubi. Drop your comments below. We could be wrong. So if you guys were in the film and y'all want to fight us in the streets, well, Iris runs Puerto Rico. So like you got to get through her to get to us. So that's it.
Real reviews. New episodes every Thursday at 8 at vvclife.com.